It's another Friday edition of Jamaica Magazine, and we're so happy you could join us. In today's show, we share details about the plans for Child Month 2021 and, of course, the theme. Later, we highlight some young entrepreneurs who are already embodying that theme. Stay right there. These and other important information are unfolding right now.
The government of Jamaica is introducing shared corporate services to revolutionize the way it operates. Shared corporate services will utilize the latest technology, leaner processes and service standards to drive efficiency and effectiveness in the public sector. The Transformation Implementation Unit is working to streamline public services in 7 operational areas: human resource management, information and communication technology, asset management, procurement, finance and accounts, public relations and communication, as well as internal audit. Shared corporate services is a tried and proven way of improving the delivery of public services. The government of Jamaica is transforming to serve its citizens better. We're building a better public sector for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Good day, I'm Adrian Atkinson and this is your JIS News for Friday, April 23, 2021. Jamaica's fight to manage the COVID-19 pandemic has been strengthened with $11.3 million in support from Canadian government to procure 48 hospital beds. The Canada Fund for Local Initiatives handed over the check to the Ministry of Health and Wellness on Wednesday. Procurement of the beds is to be completed by April 30 and is expected to enhance the health system's capacity to provide effective medical care for persons with COVID-19. High Commissioner of Canada to Jamaica, Emina Tudakovic, says the donation is an extension of Canada's global response and international assistance to developing countries to prevent further spread of the novel coronavirus. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton has expressed gratitude for the donation, pointing out that the success in the fight against the global pandemic requires collaboration and cooperation. 27 Jamaicans who have been stranded in Britain as a result of the ban on flights from that country returned home on Wednesday. Due to COVID-19 controlled entry measures, the individuals will be housed in a government-managed quarantine facility for 14 days. British nationals and residents who had similarly been stranded in Jamaica were able to return to the UK on Thursday. 315 farmers from 11 districts in St. Thomas and St. Andrew have benefited from irrigation equipment and techniques to boost crop production. The farmers were equipped with rainwater harvesting sheds and drip irrigation systems as part of the Irrigation Systems Consultancy Project. The 8-month project, which ended last month, was implemented by the National Environment and Planning Agency NEPA and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA. It is a component of the integrated management of the Yalis and Hope Rivers Watershed Management Areas project. Watershed Officer at NEPA, Andre Reed, says the project was a success despite the impact of the pandemic.
There were moments when we had discussion with RADA and we would have heard that there are no tanks available, there are no drip irrigation systems available. So it was a whole different ballgame in terms of implementing this component within a pandemic. But RADA stood their ground. RADA was able to pull this project through despite the existing realities, and they were able to deliver a successful project at the end of it.
Mr. Reid was addressing a JIS think tank session recently. More than 7,000 hospitality workers have been trained as part of a key strategy to reposition the industry amid the global pandemic. The training involved 45 candidates who have taken their examinations for culinary arts certification with the American Culinary Federation. Other workers have been trained in a variety of skill sets such as law, accounting, and supervisory management. The multinational multi-agency initiative is spearheaded by the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, JCTI.
This has been made possible through strategic partnership with HEART, with the Universal Service Fund, the National Restaurants Association, and the American Hotel and Lodging Educational Institute.
The Tourism Minister provided details on the initiative during his sectoral presentation in the House of Representatives this week. He indicated that the JCTI was offering middle management certification programs in Certified Food and Beverage Executive, Certified Hospitality Housekeeping Executive, Certified Hospitality Trainer, and Certified Hotel Concierge. In addition, the first cohort of high school students have completed training in the Hospitality and Tourism Management program. And finally, the Ministry of Education is currently finalizing a modernization structure for the Jamaica Archives and Records Department, JARD. This will see the entity becoming a National Archives and Records Management Authority. The news was revealed by Minister of State Robert Morgan as he delivered the keynote address at the virtual launch of Records and Information Management RIM Month recently. He said this new authority would effectively support government entities and provide the necessary enforcement to ensure their compliance with standards. Mr. Morgan added that new legislation would also be coming to modernize the current Archives Act and to treat with the technological advancements the world has undergone since it was originally enacted in the 1980s.
We're also developing proposals that will restructure registries in MDAs to better manage paper and electronic records and ultimately improve the quality of service provided to Jamaican people.
Records and Information Management Month is celebrated annually in April. The theme for this year's observance is Managing Records and Information for Posterity, Transparent, Accountable and Inclusive. And that's it for the JIS News today. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
I encourage the deaf children to have deaf pride, to know that they can. You're on the same level as a hearing person. It doesn't matter that you can't hear. You have a lot of deaf adults who are successful, and you can achieve. You can get the education that you want, you can do anything that you want, you can achieve. Don't feel like you can't because you're deaf.
In believing that nothing is impossible, I have been able to culture a very positive attitude to life, and that positive attitude has worked for me, and I am confident it will work for others. I would want to say to persons with vision impairment and disabilities that it is critical that they become tooled or retooled with the appropriate technologies that can help to drive the way forward so that they can accomplish their vision and their goals.
Children with disabilities, whether you have CP or not, I strongly believe that you have a purpose. My disability has taught me that when it says the sky is the limit, it is. There are times when you're going to fall, but what is to stop you from rising?
As happens every year, a host of events are lined up to shower our nation's children and young people with love and appreciation throughout Child Month. In case you missed the recent launch, here is a recap of what's in store.
I soar. I strive to overcome adversities with resilience is the theme for Child Month 2021, which was officially launched on Tuesday, April 13. Listen now as Chair of the National Child Month Committee, Dr. Pauline Mullings, tell us more about what this year's theme is all about.
I soar. I strive to overcome adversities with resilience. The theme for 2021 follows nicely on the heels of the 2020 theme. Unplug negativity, connect positivity, think. The members of the National Child Month Committee endeavor to refocus, motivate, and empower particularly our children to strengthen their resolve to persevere and achieve despite the pandemic, despite hardship, despite limitations, and soar to higher dimension, going beyond the familiar charting new territories.
During the launch, there were performances from children and young people, as well as greetings and well wishes from children's rights entities, sponsors, and State Minister in the Ministry of Education, Robert Morgan.
I want to thank the National Child's Month Committee. I want to thank all the private sector sponsors, the government agencies, the non-government agencies, all the persons who continue to work really hard under trying circumstances in the interest of our children. I believe Child's Month presents a grand opportunity for us all to recommit to the interest of our children.
A host of virtual child-friendly activities have been announced for the month, starting with the National Church Service on the first Sunday in May.
Our annual church service will be held on Sunday, May 2 at the Linstead Pentecostal Tabernacle, 24 Gillett Street, Linstead, St. Catherine. This will begin at 9:30 a.m. and will be streamed live on their Facebook page. Other churches across Jamaica are encouraged to dedicate the first Saturday or Sunday in May as their official Child Month service.
The Child Month Committee is imploring church members to make their services as children-centered as possible by having the children directly involved. Why not have children offer a word of prayer, read a scripture, or render an item in a song or poem, or even reflection surrounding the theme? As usual, May 21st, the third Friday in the month, will be our big day, National Children's Day. This is the day we all wear yellow.
Treat the children, especially on that day. Boost their spirits. Give them tangible gifts. Reaffirm their worth. Reaffirm your love for them. Help them to soar. For this year, we'll be hosting Picnic Party 2.0. Here, our children 6 to 17 years old are asked to display their talents, whether they'll be singing, dancing, delivering poetry, or playing an instrument, as they give their best interpretation of our theme. I strive to overcome adversity with resilience. Yes, I soar. To help keep focus on the theme and spur us as adults into action, the committee has created a calendar for the month of May with 31 tips to help parents, adults, and to guide children in soaring. I encourage us to be deliberate as we put in action these daily tips. Share your stories, pictures, etc. on our social media. And don't forget to use the hashtag.
Our Child Month celebrations will culminate fittingly with a day of prayer on Wednesday, May 26.
Selecting this day is geared towards asking God's intervention in the atrocities and attacks that are taking place against our children and families. We encourage all churches to dedicate a period of that day to fasting and prayer, especially for the nation's children and their families.
Remember, for this Child Month, strive to overcome adversities with resilience. I soar, you soar, we soar. For more details about Child Month 2021, contact the National Child Month Committee at 876-909-5859 or email ncmcja@gmail.com.
We are children and we have rights. We have a right to be
Protected,
provided for,
and included.
Don't beat me up, don't belittle me, and please don't molest me. I am under 13. I should not be working for a living. That is child labor. It is illegal.
Stop leaving me alone. I am too young to provide for myself. I need your guidance.
Protect our nation's children. They have rights too. To learn more about children's rights, call or visit the offices of the Child Development Agency.
As you heard earlier, the theme for Child Month 2021 is I Soar, which translates to I strive to overcome adversities with resilience. Coming up next is the inspirational story about how two students at the Herbert Morrison Technical High School in St. James overcame adversities through resilience, creativity, and teamwork.
As the COVID-19 virus continues to plague us, more and more schools across Jamaica are resorting to the use of technology to meet the needs of their students. In many cases, learning has been shifted to the virtual space, and educational apps and technologies are the new must-haves. The Herbert Morrison Technical High School in St. James is well aware of this new normal and will not be left behind. Meet Jason and Sunil, two students of the school's engineering club who recently created a new COVID-19 web app and interactive school website to increase access to accurate, current and valuable information during this fight against COVID-19.
Hello. I'm Jason Clark, the creator of both COVID-JA and my school's website at Herbert Morrison Technical High.
I'm Sunil England, creator of the React API integration for the COVID-JA web app.
The old website was outdated. Now the design might have been popular around 2006-2009, but by today's standards in 2019-2020, it is completely outdated. Information on that website was also irrelevant and not up to date. So on the new website, we have a modern design. It has information on the school, what we do, the news, various news and upcoming events for the school. It has our contact information, or number or email, and an interactive map that we can find the school. We also have all the clubs in an interactive card system where you see the club that you want to join. You hover over it and it flips around and gives all the information related to the club. Now some clubs even have websites of their own, such as for the engineering club.
The updated website also houses important downloadable documents, such as the syllabus for various grades and application forms for the school's sixth form program. New students will soon be able to use the website to participate in a tour of the school without ever having to leave the comfort of their homes.
Now on the website, we are also integrating our virtual tour. Now a few students some time back created a virtual tour of the entire school. Now what we are working on now is placing it in the website. Now due to the coronavirus restrictions, we can't have large gatherings. So what that virtual tour will allow it is for new students to be able to interact with the compound, to go where they want, to explore, to discover. They'll also be able to meet the teachers, the principals. I also created a web app that tracks COVID-19. Now on this web app you have valuable information on COVID-19, what it is, how it's spread. You have information and what to do if you think you have the symptoms. You have information that caters to persons that may be vulnerable to COVID-19 and likes to find out a little more information on it. Now it also has a dedicated part that tracks the coronavirus worldwide. It's integrated with a React API, which my friend Sunil created, which allows all the data from all over the world to be tracked and placed in the website. So if you are curious on the amount of cases, the recovered, the deaths in Jamaica, you can find it on the website. Whether it be Jamaica, America, Spain, England, all these countries are integrated into the web app.
So initially, Jason created a website that was based around HTML and CSS. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, which means that the information will only be displayed static, and CSS means cascading style sheets. So that is responsible for the aesthetics of the website. My React API integration came into play when I saw Jason's HTML-based site, and I said to him that, okay, seeing that the information would have to be manually updated, I would start to use the React API to draw data from each country in the world and put them into one section of the website that can be manipulated dynamically through the API, not by the user. So in real time, the information gets updated as a new case comes on a live server.
According to Sunil, not only is the web app interactive and current, it is also adaptive because the data on the app can be accessed on laptops, desktops, and cell phones. In other words, the data being displayed conforms to the shape of any device being used.
Now, I decided to create this app because my parents like to watch the news. And on the news, there's always reports of new cases in different countries. However, there are few times that Jamaica comes up. So I wanted to create a medium through a website, a web app, where you could find real-time information on the coronavirus anytime you'd like, wherever you are.
To access Jason's free COVID-JA web app, persons should visit covidja.ml. His school's new website can be found at herbertmorrisontechnicalhigh.tk.
Within the engineering club, there are different skills and experts. And what you just see happening between both of them there is just two different skills integrating together to form a complete product. I feel like there is hope for Jamaica. I feel like Herbert Morrison Technical High School is on the right path in terms of adopting technology or providing at least the environment for students who want more than what is required in the learning curriculum, or those students who want to be a part or a fight of the COVID-19.
Since Child Month is just a few days away, here are some reminders about how you can be effective parents to toddlers during Child Month and beyond.
Parenting can be very frustrating, and a lot of times people don't feel like they really have an answer to everything, and the truth is that that is the reality. But there are different things that people can try. We're not saying that any one thing works for everybody or that you'll even get the outcome that you want immediately. Especially when you're dealing with young children, you might have to try something several times before you see a particular result. So for example, if it is that you want a child to learn the difference between right and wrong, a lot of times in the past we use pain to teach that this is wrong, right? But we find that ultimately when you hit a child, what you're teaching them to do is, when I don't like something, I should hit and I should lash out. What you want to try in a situation like that, you can try removing privileges. If there are things that the child might love to do, or even the age-old timeout, you know, where you say, listen, for this period, you have to sit by yourself, there's no communication, there's no talking, sit down and be still. Sometimes you have to physically just hold your child and help them to breathe through it, because you have some children where they have so much emotion and so much anger and they want to get it out that it's really difficult for them to regulate it at such a young age. And so you have to physically hold them, put your hand on them, help them to breathe through it until they're calm. And with children, even if they don't understand necessarily the big concepts of right and wrong, they can sometimes understand tone, right? And tone is not the same thing as lashing out and using certain words and calling them different names. Tone is being firm and saying, I do not want you on this. So for example, if a child keeps going off on something, you might have to take them off it 10 times, right? And continue to reinforce with the same tone and consistency that you do not want them on this. And also for younger children, sometimes you have to be the one to remove whatever it is that you don't want them to interact with from the environment, right? Because they're so young and so impulsive, you can't necessarily leave it to them to understand I shouldn't touch this thing, right? So that's how we deal with the younger children.
All children deserve love, and one way we can demonstrate our love is by providing the support they need if and when they undergo a traumatic life experience. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, knows this all too well and has taken steps to deliver psychological support to children in the 52 child care facilities across Jamaica. The agency has recently received a retrofitted 35-seater bus that will be used as its mobile mental health vehicle. The bus will assist the CPFSA mental health unit to respond to the needs of children traumatized by acts of violence by providing the psychological screening and intervention. The vehicle is equipped with 2 counseling areas, Wi-Fi service, air conditioning, a refrigerator, sink and cabinets. As we approach Child Month, think of ways that you can assist children in need of care today. Like the CPFSA, let's play our part to make Jamaica a better place for our children to live and eventually work, raise their own families and do business.
Due to the continuing negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Education is reminding parents, guardians, and school administrators that the decision to cancel some sittings of this year's Primary Exit Profile PEP exams still stands. The PEP performance task and curriculum-based tests at grade 6 are cancelled. Instead, a hybrid approach will be used to place students in secondary schools, similar to that which was done in 2020. Placements will be done using the scores from the Grade 4 performance task that the students completed in 2019 and the ability test to be administered in May at centres across the island. The Ministry of Education will also administer a diagnostic test at the Grade 6 level to gather data on students' achievement with respect to the National Standards curriculum. For more information, feel free to contact the Student Assessment Unit in the Ministry of Education at 922-5680, 922-2420, or 948-9254.
And that's all we have for you today on Jamaica Magazine. Thanks for browsing with us. While you go, do remember that you can re-watch today's program on our YouTube channel and our website, jis.gov.jm. Don't forget that you're also able to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for the latest news and information. I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.